I grew up non-denominational. I thought I was a Christian who was experiencing God, and then I went to a One Direction concert, and I realized I felt the exact same way. We have relegated an encounter with God to I am having a very intense emotional experience.
Right.
And I've had very intensive. I cry. I cried during Happy Gilmore too, dude. You just have to come to terms with the fact that our emotions are not a good gauge of whether or not we've really encountered God. And if we do that, we open ourselves up to a really poignant criticism where people deconstruct, because I read this years ago. It was like, I thought that I grew up non-denominational. I thought I was a Christian who was experiencing God, and then I went to a One Direction concert, and I realized I felt the exact same way. Or I was at like a secular concert, and they did a key change, and I got the chills, just like I did it at church. And that's what I thought at church was an indication that I was experiencing the presence of God. Okay, so hold on, we might need to actually get biblical about this. What you'll notice about these is that I've put them in alphabetical order because I don't want anyone to think that one is better than the other.
Sure.
And so the physical experience thing is great, but if you walk away feeling like that one is better than the rest of these ones, you've now looked at, and this is a limited list, but you've looked at all the things the Holy Spirit might do, and you've gone, there's a best one. And if he loves me, he'll really do that one. So it's like, sure, he could do those other things, but they're like kind of boring. And so if he does this one though, then that's what matters the most. And what happens is you have believers who don't even know that they're blaspheming every time they walk out of a church service because they're upset with the Lord that he didn't meet them the way that they wanted him to. And they've got all this disappointment and these feelings of sort of frustration with God and God not loving them the way they thought he did, because he didn't touch them the way that they really would have liked him to touch them. And so now they have beef with the Holy Spirit because he didn't move in according to their preference, but he moved according to what was best. And we're just oblivious to it. Like, we're like, oh, I didn't really encounter God there, but you did, and you're saying you didn't because you just have the wrong definition of what it would look like to encounter God. And that's offensive, I think. And then
that's
lastly,
what you meant by blasphemy.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't encounter God there. God's not there. I went to, a more, let's say, subdued in their expression, maybe a quieter, maybe a little bit more teacher-centric type of expression. If you're a charismatic, you may leave that room saying to your friend, God wasn't there. That was
or it's explosive, or it's charismatic, or we're totally expressive, but something doesn't happen to me in my heart. Well, who said that that's how we measure things? Like, for a lot of people, it's probably because they've had those experiences and they felt legit, and now they're like, it's always going to be like that. And you're just wrong. It's not always going to be like that, because this relationship is normal, and you're a human being who needs to develop maturely. And like, God is trying to develop you into like a real Christian disciple who can stay faithful to him even when you're at an emotional low.